What I wanted to go over is my 574 actually broke. I like the tractor. It's done really well since I've had it. I've done a lot of work with it. It broke, and I kind of want to share why and how simple the preventative fix is. So where I'm standing up here, this is kind of behind our buildings, kind of behind our work yard and everything else on the property. But what we've got is, move this over here, that way you can see it better. Sorry about the shaking and moving so much. If I pan the camera down and kind of show you the ground here. So this ground, you can see pretty big slope, but it's just absolutely covered in sticks, limbs, and old trees and everything else. And this little section here doesn't have much for bigger stuff. Anyway, what happened is this property was mitigated 7-8 years ago, long before we owned it. And so what I've been doing is I go through and I take pieces like this. I mean, this is 2 inches, 3 inches across. Same with this. And I pick them up and I throw them into the grapple on the tractor and haul them up to my pile. As you can see over here, this section kind of obviously hasn't been touched. So once I put them into the grapple on the tractor, I haul them up here, and you can see over here, this is kind of the just miscellaneous random pile. This is all the cutoffs from what I've done so far. And this is just the little stuff that I've cut up. And then back here, that's what I'm left with. The area I'm working is about right here, and it pans over to about here. That's how much I'm done with. So where I was just standing and showing you the ground, that's like way over here. So anyway, what happens is I'm clearing all this out so that way I can have a food plot behind my building for deer and elk season. So I'm hoping to have good things happen from that. So here I can kind of show you, this is a pass that was made kind of like through here, and if we move over here, this area right here, picked all the big stuff out of it, but I haven't made a trip through it with a rake. If we go over to right here, you can see this goes all the way down. Then if we look down at the ground, you can kind of see I've overseeded this with food plot mix. Straight back here, it's about 2 or 3 yards worth of just the weeds and the debris and the pine needles and just everything that would prevent stuff from growing well. So I drug it all out, brought it up into a pile. Here we've got a 7-foot landscape rake. Because of the hill, the slope, grade, whatever you want to call it that I'm on, I actually put a, I don't know what that weighs, probably 200-300 pounds. It's just a big rock I put in the grapple for ballast. My tractor is a TYM 574 HST. Checking up here at the hours, I'm at 55.8. So what happened was, it's down here and I'm pulling the landscape rake up, and I was going to clear it out up here and then kind of push it over into my pile over there. I got to here, the rake wouldn't lift up, the bucket wouldn't go up, the tractor wouldn't move. Why is that? Let's have a look here. So if we look at this, I cut this off after it was broken just so I could take it with me. But if you see here, this big hole in this hose, that is from a stick. So yeah, a stick can stop your tractor, just FYI. This is 1.25 inches inside diameter. I don't know what the thickness of the hose is, but it's 1.25 inches inside diameter. What happens is, for those of you that don't know this, I'm sure most of you do. I personally didn't. I'm by no stretch of the imagination a mechanic. It's just not what I do. So the 3-point on the back of the tractor, the loader on the front, and the tractor moving forward and backward is actually propelled all out of the same fluid reservoir. So when I punched a hole in the bottom of that and left a trail going down the mountain of hydraulic fluid, tractor is dead in the water and will not move. It's kind of frustrating that a 4 or 5 inch long piece of hose can literally stop your hydrostatic tractor from moving. I don't know if this is something that all manufacturers have the same type of thing. I don't know if this is exclusive to TYM where you just have, this is exposed here. I mean, it's not like I was rock crawling or something like that. I mean, literally a stick went through that piece of rubber hose. Completely disabled me for a week now. It's going to be over a week by the time I get the parts. The other thing that everybody will say is, well, why don't you just go to Napa, or why don't you go to an auto parts store, or whatever. I don't know if it's different in other parts of the country. I have been to 3 Napas. I've been to O'Reilly Auto Parts. I went to an Advanced Auto. I also went to Bobcat of the Rockies, and I also went to a John Deere dealership that's about 40 miles away. Nobody will sell you just hose as soon as they hear that it has hydraulic fluid going on it. Apparently, hydraulic fluid is very corrosive. I'm sure there's a lot of people that'll have a lot of different opinions on that, but just telling you what I'm told. So basically, I'm dead in the water waiting on a hose coming from a dealer. I've been sitting here waiting on this for over a week. So, this simple little hose can completely disable your tractor. Now, something that's really frustrating to me is just how simple this would be to prevent, and why TYM didn't take it upon themselves to do this. What I'm going to do is basically, like across here, I'm going to pull this motor mount out, and I will put a piece of sheet metal going down and then just 90 it over and kind of curl it up a little bit, basically like so, just to hug that, and that'll be it. Mine will not be pretty by any stretch. I'm sure it'll actually be pretty ugly, but that will work in the time being so I can finish this project. My plan would be then, I talked to Gary with ITC. They're the ones that make the Sawboss, and they also make the grill guard. I talked to Gary with ITC, and he was saying he'll put it on his list of stuff to look at making. If he makes one, I'll buy it. I'm sure it'll be way better than mine, but like I said, I just need to get this project done, and it's kind of mind-blowing to me that this simple little hose here can stop your entire tractor from moving. And again, I went to 5 different places, and every place tells me, no, you have to get that from the manufacturer. So I don't know what I don't know, so I'm kind of stuck. So if anyone from TYM is listening, my suggestion would be to make that guard. It's very simple to do. I can't imagine that that would cost much of anything in the manufacturing process, and just how easy that would be to do. I don't know. It's very disappointing to have something so simple fail and leave you stranded for, I can't say a week because I'm still not fixed. I like the tractor. It's done everything I've asked it to do until now. It just won't do anything. I can't imagine that I'm the only person that's ever had this issue with one of these tractors. And again, I don't know if every hydrostatic tractor and every horsepower range is this way from every manufacturer, or if this is just a TYM issue, but it's frustrating to say the least. I ordered 2 of the hoses, so that way if and when the same problem happens again, even with the skid plate or even with the guard that I'm putting on there, if it happens again, at least then I'm not down a week. But still, this is $100 and whatever in fluid over a week being down and sitting here waiting. So